Before the dawn of creation, before the stars were set ablaze and the earth took form, there was the infinite expanse of the heavens, crafted by the omnipotent hand of God. A realm of untold power, beauty and purity, where light radiated through every corner and perfection reigned. Within this celestial kingdom, God created his divine order, the cherubim, the angels, and above all, the mighty archangels, his most trusted and exalted servants. Among these, one archangel rose higher than any other. He was unmatched in brilliance, a being of unparalleled beauty, wisdom, and power. His name was Lucifer. Lucifer, the highest of the archangels, was the very definition of divine perfection. He was the most splendid and radiant creature that God had ever created. His beauty was beyond compare, his strength unmatched, and his wisdom profound. He was the very embodiment of God's perfection, standing as the pinnacle of creation. Ezekiel 28:15 tells us that Lucifer was perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, a being flawless and without iniquity, radiating the light of God's creation. His brilliance and grace were so extraordinary that all who beheld him could not help but marvel at his majesty. But perfection, it seems, was Lucifer's greatest curse. For Lucifer, in his unparalleled glory, began to perceive himself as not merely a creation of God, but as one who surpassed all others, even his creator. The radiance that defined him soon gave way to pride, the very qualities that made him perfect. His beauty, his intellect, his strength became the fuel for his arrogance. He looked upon the other angels, those who served God humbly, and saw himself as their superior. He believed that no one, not even God, could rival his power and magnificence. As his pride grew, so did his ambition. Lucifer, once content to stand in the presence of the Almighty, began to entertain thoughts of dethroning God himself. Isaiah 14:12-14 tells Lucifer's declaration, "I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." His ambition, it seems, was not just to challenge God, but to transcend him, to claim a throne higher than God's own. In Lucifer's mind, he was not only worthy of the throne of heaven, he was destined for it. His intellect and his perfection led him to believe that he, above all, should rule. He believed that God had made a grave mistake by granting him such power, and that it was his right to seize it. His pride clouded his judgment, and in his arrogance, Lucifer sought to manipulate the other angels, those loyal to God, to rally behind his cause. He was a master of deception, his intellect far surpassing the others, and he used this to sow seeds of rebellion in the hearts of many. But not all were deceived. Many angels, recognizing the true authority of God, remained loyal to him. However, a third of the heavenly host, led by Lucifer, were swayed by his promises of power and grandeur. Together, they waged war against the very throne of God. They waged a battle that shook the heavens to their core. But Lucifer underestimated the strength of one being, Archangel Michael. Michael, the greatest warrior of heaven, stood as the protector of God's throne. He met Lucifer's forces with unwavering resolve, and despite Lucifer's superior intellect and cunning, he could not defeat Michael. The clash between these two archangels was cataclysmic, an epic battle of light against darkness, of pride against humility. Lucifer, in his arrogance, believed he could outmatch Michael. But in the end, Michael's strength, fueled by the power of God, proved unstoppable. Revelation 12:7-8 describes this final confrontation. "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven." Lucifer, defeated and broken, was cast out from the heavens. His rebellion, fueled by pride, ended in utter humiliation. In one fell moment, the once glorious archangel became the embodiment of shame and defeat. Lucifer's fall from heaven is described in Revelation 12:9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. This is the moment when Lucifer, once known as the light-bringer, became Satan, the adversary, the deceiver. The once perfect being who had walked in the presence of God was cast down into the abyss of darkness, forever separated from the light. But Lucifer's punishment did not end with his fall. He lost more than just his place in heaven. He lost his very identity as the most glorious creation of God. The light that once shone from him was extinguished, leaving only the darkness of his pride. He was cast down from heaven with his followers into the earth, a place of suffering and torment. As noted in Luke 10:18, Jesus himself proclaimed, "I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven." In an instant, Lucifer was no longer the morning star, the angel of light. He was now the embodiment of darkness and rebellion. His punishment was eternal, and it was absolute. But Lucifer's fall was not the end of his story. Though he had lost his place in heaven, his hatred for God remained. In his bitterness and rage, Lucifer plotted his revenge. Not against God directly, for he knew he was powerless against him, but against the creation that God loved most, humanity. Lucifer's first act of defiance after his fall was to corrupt God's creation. When God created Adam and Eve, he gave them dominion over the earth and placed them in the Garden of Eden, where they were to live in harmony with him. But Lucifer, in the form of the serpent, saw an opportunity to strike. In his deceit, he seduced Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, causing the fall of mankind. Though the serpent is not explicitly identified as Lucifer in Genesis, it is widely believed that Lucifer, in his hatred for God, manipulated the serpent to carry out his will. Revelation 12:9 later refers to Lucifer as that old serpent, linking him to the creature in the garden. His rebellion continued in the corruption of humanity, a legacy that would last for millennia. As time passed, Lucifer's name became synonymous with evil. His fall from heaven was immortalized, not just in scripture, but in the hearts and minds of humanity. Though he had been cast out, his ambition and pride remained unchecked. His ultimate fate, as described in Revelation 20 verse 10, would be to be cast into the lake of fire, a place of eternal torment, where he would be punished for his rebellion and his deception of mankind. Lucifer, once the light-bringer, now stands as the symbol of pride, arrogance, and the dangers of defying the will of God. His story serves as a warning, a reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition and pride. In conclusion to this video, regardless of how you interpret the story of Lucifer, whether as an unnamed Babylonian king or the fallen angel of God, the moral of the tale is quite profound. It echoes the old saying, "Pride goes before a fall," or in the biblical sense, "Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." Proverbs 16:18. The story of Lucifer serves as a warning to us all. Like Lucifer, if we become too confident and believe ourselves to be more powerful than we actually are, we risk setting ourselves up for failure. His story speaks to the dangers of unchecked pride, arrogance, and ambition. It reminds us that no matter how great we believe ourselves to be, there is always someone or something greater. It teaches us to remain humble, to be thankful for what we have, and to recognize that our abilities are finite. Moreover, Lucifer's story echoes the idea that we should respect our elders, our parents, and those that paved the way before us, as they often hold wisdom that we may not yet be able to conceive. Lucifer believed himself stronger than God, and despite God having made him what he was, he threw that back in God's face, believing he could surpass his creator. The result? Lucifer's banishment, which shows us that the consequences for such disrespect and arrogance can be severe. In today's world, we still see the destructive force of pride and ambition. People driven by their egos often overlook the lessons of humility and respect. Like Lucifer, They strive to elevate themselves, sometimes at the expense of those around them, forgetting that true power lies not in domination, but in self-control and wisdom. Lucifer's story is one of light and shadow, of pride and downfall, a tale that resonates through the ages, challenging our understanding of power, rebellion, and redemption. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on this complex, enigmatic figure? Share your interpretations, your beliefs, and your questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And if this journey into the depths of heaven and the fall from grace has sparked something in you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It makes all the difference. Subscribe to the channel, and together we'll continue exploring the greatest stories and deepest mysteries of existence. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, every story has a lesson. See you on the next video, my fellow companions.